All right, y'all, it's James, Quantum Mechanic. Today I wanted to be talking about 1/4 inch, and specifically, I want to talk about this electric ratchet right here. This is the brushed version of the Milwaukee electric ratchet. If you want to check it out, there's the part number for it. Anyhow, this is an absolutely fantastic ratchet. I use this thing every single day. Like I told you guys before, this lives in my 90% toolbox on the bottom drawer. It holds my semi-deep 10 mil from Snap-on with just a short extension right here. I showed you guys some footage in the beginning of me using this thing, and I really use it every single day. It doesn't do a lot. It's not a heavy lifter, but it just, if when I need a 10 millimeter, boom, this is what I grab. Now, comparatively, this is the fuel high torque version, and I'll tell you, I kind of like this one better, especially for the price. I mean, this is just a little bit more. There's definitely better options now. This Milwaukee Insider that I've talked about extensively, there's a video on that if you guys want to check it out. This thing is well worth the money, okay? But if you're kind of in between, you want something a little bit smaller, then I would go with the brushed version in 2025. I mean it. I mean, this thing is absolutely fantastic. It's got a decent enough power. I've had this thing since 2021, I think, and I barely ever clean it. As you guys can tell, all the things all, ripped off, and it's got definitely got some miles on her. I run this 2.5 battery, and I've had this one in. This battery's been in this for about a week, right? About 7 or 8 days, and I'm still full, okay? And I tell you guys, I use this day in and day out. Now, it just does minor work, okay? It like I said, it's not a heavy lifter. It doesn't do everything, but that's 1/4 inch for you, okay? The power of 1/4 inch in general, and this is kind of like what I keep in my toolbox. I have it laid out for you guys. So definitely, like I said, the 10 millimeter, I have a few different options here. Definitely you're going to want to have a good deep well. Now, I prefer this. Like I told you guys before, I like this setup better than just setting it up with a deep well. And I don't necessarily like having a short socket on there either, because I can always take that extension off, right, and just use it like this. Now, having the extension definitely takes your hand away from the work, and that's one of the great things about having an extension, or even a deep well in general, is that you have the clearance. When you're working, your hand's not getting in the way, the tool's not getting in the way. So a good bit away from the head is kind of what you want. Obviously, the closer to the head it is, the less you have to worry about it kind of coming off and snapping things. But like I said, this is low torque, right? Not a heavy lifter. So that's how it lives. And if I need to grab a deep well, I have it. If I need to grab a short, I have it. This is the Snap-on 10 millimeter that I haven't lost somehow yet. And then obviously, like I told you guys before, I love these swivel sockets as well. Anytime it's like a force multiplier. With a powered ratchet. This is just absolutely great. It really lets you get those weird angles that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get with a straight socket. Now, for this specifically, only because it's a little bit more faster and it's a little bit more efficient, this is what I rock. But when I'm doing like a water pump or really anything where I need to really shove this tool down deep into something and I can't fit my insider ratchet, I basically never use this guy. I just brought it out for you to show you. But if I can't fit my insider ratchet for whatever reason, then this comes out and it really does do some work. Now, they make the long high-speed version, which is good, don't get me wrong, but I'll tell you, sometimes if you're going to get the long version, you might as well get the insider, my opinion. Okay, yes, the longer high speed would be great, but I kind of like the form factor of something that's smaller. The farther this head gets away from your hand, okay, just the little bit harder it is to control it. Okay, like if this is this is just a bit unwieldy at times, especially if you're doing small, delicate things, which you normally are doing with this guy right here. So this is just like, it has a good feel to it, and it fits well, and it's cheap. Like, this tool itself is pretty cheap, so I like that. All right, let's talk about the power of the 1/4 inch. Okay, I think that's something that's widely understated. Not only is it small for delicate things like interior trim work and such of that nature, but I mean, even in the engine bay, I mean, I've used this little guy and this one to do like 14 millimeter sockets on like alternators and stuff like that, where the engine bay compartment's really tight and you just can't fit anything else in there. Even, I mean, I have a wide assortment of 3/8, which is like my go-to, but sometimes you just can't fit that in there. You know, the heads are a little bit bigger, you know, the tool itself, it's just a little bit chunky, the drive size, everything, right? So anyway, 1/4 inch. Now, as a young tech, I exclusively used 3/8, okay? And when I was early in, I snapped a water pump bolt because I didn't. When I was a young technician and I first got this Ratchet, broke some water pump bolts because I didn't take into consideration the length. It was a Chevy, and I just didn't take into consideration the length, and I broke some bolts. And my mentor at the time was like, "You need to get yourself a good 1/4 inch set, because with a 1/4 inch set, it has a smaller handle, and you're less likely to really bronc down on something." And as a young tech, that's fantastic advice. You know, use the 1/4 inch for the smaller stuff when you can. So what I actually did was I challenged myself. Anything below 14 millimeter, I used 1/4 inch on, okay? And that's mainly because I wanted to make sure I didn't over torque something, or, you know, something like that. And I really wanted to get the feel for it. And it was basically like a challenge I did. And then in my pickup truck, I have an old 51 pickup. I prefer to have 1/4 inch drive on there, with all the standard sockets, because it's just smaller, it's easier to fit in a tool bag, and you can really get a lot done with a 1/4 inch, okay? Now, these are the accessories, so to speak, that I keep with it. You know, obviously extensions, stuff like that. But I like to keep these swivels, like I've talked about before. This is a good snap-on bit in the Quinn driver. That'll upset some people right there. But a good Phillips head. That's one of the reasons why I don't keep Phillips head screwdrivers in my toolbox. This is all flatheads up here, is because I'd rather drive it with a powered driver, because it's so much faster. And you don't come across this, like air filters and stuff like that, which I don't do a lot of anyway, okay? And then, like I said, you got to have a good assortment of ratchets. I've talked about that in the past. These are fantastic. You know, I don't want to beat that dead horse, but really the power of the 1/4 inch is so underrated, and you really can get a lot done. And these ratchets nowadays, they can take a lot of use and abuse. And if not, I mean, hey, they're lifetime warranty, and I can almost guarantee you have more than one 1/4 inch socket, or excuse me, more than one 1/4 inch ratchet. Okay, so just some things to think about. You know, final thoughts. Really, I want to talk about this. Yes, it's useful in 2025. Would I buy it again? Absolutely. If this broke, which it hasn't yet, I would 100% buy another one on the spot. It's just a great tool. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. What are your thoughts on these old fuel, or these old non-fuel brushed motors? Right? All right, guys. Thanks for watching.